Hey guys, Chris again, also known as thereal cmac on PCF Vaportron Whacked Out Canada. Changed the scenery a bit today. We're looking at a hardware review today. As you probably deduced from looking at the title, it is for the eVic. The eVic. We sent this along with a couple of Halo juices, which I already reviewed from madvapors.com. madvapors.com out in Ontario, newer Canadian vendor. So what is the eVic? The eVic, I'm sure many of you have heard of it. It is a variable wattage, variable voltage, APV, advanced personal vaporizer, or the two mods some may call it. Takes an 18650 battery, has an OLED screen. And before we go any further, let's go down, do an unboxing, then we'll come back up. Alright guys, so here we have the eVic box. Name on the side there. We got on the back what it contains, the control head, the battery tube, the USB cable, the eVic wall adapter, eVic manual, and the MVR manual. Okay, and then an explanation of what it is, Joytech logo, so on and so forth. Looks amazingly like an iPhone box. Let's open it up. Alright, so inside we have the eVic unit itself, and we can take that out. Put that aside for now. Lift this plastic piece out. We have, as stated, the MVR manual, My Vapor Record. We have a rather thick instruction booklet. Pretty decent book. Shows you pretty much everything you need to know. I have not gone all the way through it. But the reason it's so thick is because it is printed in a whole bunch of different languages. Then we have, let's turn that around, we have the USB cable right there, we have your wall adapter charger right there, and then the battery would come in that little box there. So everything's, well, it was a little more neatly packed in there before I got into it, but so there's your accessories that come with your eVic. So let's go back up and discuss it some more. Alright guys, so that's what you get in the box. Before we take a look at the MVR software, let's just quickly go through the menu options on this sucker. To get into the menu, well, if you're powered off, let's power it off. Easiest way is just take the battery out. I should mention the battery. It's a 18650 ICR Samsung 2600 milliamp hour battery. Alright, so there we are. ICR as opposed to IMR. Slide that in there, check this out. See that go in there? That's cool. Alright. Back to the menu system. To navigate the menu system, you're going to use the turn ring. I don't know what you want to call it. It is the ring on here. This is how you navigate, turning it left or right. Left or right. And we're going to power this sucker on. So 5 clicks to bring up the screen. Alright, I'm going to have to get in closer apparently. Alright, so kind of tough to see on there. I'll just move down there. So power on is the first thing we want to do. Let's do that. And let's fix the focus here. There we go. Alright, so you see it detected my atomizer ohms. As soon as you turn it on, or as soon as you take off and put on an atomizer, it'll detect the ohms. I really like that. It's kind of neat just to be able to, if I forget what this atomizer coil is in the Penelope I have on here, I can just unscrew it, screw it back on, and it's going to tell me. So that's pretty cool. First, your display screen we see here, 4.1 volts, what I have it set at. If you want to move that up or down, you're just going to turn left or right. Okay. As I said, it goes from 3 to 5 volts. You can set this to watts as well. That 615 right there is how many puffs I have remaining at my current voltage on this battery. Okay. If I change it, the puffs will change. Obviously, the higher the voltage, the less puffs you'll get. I don't believe this is incredibly accurate, but maybe. There's your battery gauge. Right now I'm sitting at 58%. Also not incredibly accurate. I've had this shut down on me around 10%, 20%. Part of the problem is I have batteries that are not 2600 milliamp or 2200 milliamp hours, which is the only two options you have for this. I have some 1500 milliamp hours. Don't ask me why. They were cheap. So that battery gauge setting is not always going to be accurate. Let's bring it back up the screen here. Alright, so we're going to go into the option menu. So I'm going to do 5 clicks to get there. I'm going to try to not turn this all the way down, which I did. So there's a sleep button if you want to put it to sleep. Don't know why you want to do that. I keep going the wrong way. Power off. Vapor set. Let's go into that. Alright. So first thing we have is battery. And that's what I was just discussing. 2200 milliamp hour, 2600 milliamp hour. Since it comes with 26 milliamp hour, let me get my good focus here. That's what we're going to click. Switch. Switch. Now this is the switch between variable wattage and variable voltage. Let's put it on variable wattage. Let's exit. Okay, then we have to go down and exit again. And now we're in variable wattage. So that's anywhere from, what did I say, 2 to 11, I believe. Put this down at 10 watts. Alright, let's go back into the menu. 5 clicks. Standby. And what's the first one there? Screen. So I can stand by. This is the amount of time the screen stays on. Okay. I see no reason to keep the screen on more than 15 seconds, so that's where I keep it. System. Alright, now we got 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. You might think that's all, but there is a 60-minute option, which I don't think you can even see it there. 60 minutes. Now this is how long the unit will take to shut itself off. So if you put this down, you know, vape on something else for, you know, a while, an hour, when you pick it up, it's going to be off, and you're going to have to hit the button 5 times just to start it up again. Very annoying. I wish it had an option to not go to sleep or turn off at all. Alright, let's go back into the menu. I think we looked at everything in standby, yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're going to exit. What is that? Calendar. Alright, so you can show the time and all that. So 2017 Sunday, and this is the 6th of January 2013. Pretty neat, I guess. Hit the fire button to back out. Now you can set the time, date, and year. You can do that all in the MVR software as well. Puff info. Some people absolutely hate puff info. Let's see if I can. Sorry, folks, just trying to get the best view for you here as my hand cramps up. Oh, I lost it. Alright, back to puff info. We have set puffs. So we can set it to a certain number and it will no longer fire after you get to that number. I will never use that. Reset puffs, you can reset maybe the life, the total life, I don't know. Reset puffs, maybe it'll reset at a certain amount of puffs. I really never use it. We have total puffs. Okay, that's the total lifetime for me, 2615. And I'm pressing the button each time to get out of those. Okay, let's go down to exit. Then we have device. First thing on device is atomizer ohms, so you can check your ohms. Easier to just screw it off, in my opinion. Then we have temperature. Okay, and temperature, current temperature in Celsius is 29 degrees Celsius. This will not work unless an atomizer's on there, so I'm assuming it's the atomizer temperature. Alarm for temperature. I have it set to 47, just because it never gets that high. When I did install the 1.1 firmware, it's reset to 0, and I had a constant alarm. Kind of annoying. User info. Okay, there's me. I'm 10 years old, and I'm the real cmac, Mr. Real cmac. Thank you. Series number. That's your serial number. All this info can be found in the MVR software, and there's your firmware version. And let's go back down to exit. Okay, so that is the menu system. Now let's go take a look at the MVR software. So what we're going to do is take our little USB, I don't know what you want to call it here, little plug there. Kind of, I don't really, not a huge fan of these. They sometimes break off, and you're going to get a whole bunch of gunk in there. But there's your USB slot. So we're going to take the provided USB, if I can get a bloody picture of it. There you go. Alright, so let's plug the cord in, and we will go take a look at the MVR software in action. Alright, so here we have my messy desktop screen, and we're going to go ahead and plug in the eVic. I do have the MVR software installed here. If I can find the USB port, there we go. And it may take a minute to install your driver. And the MVR software should pop up once you have done that. So you have only charging here. You can charge from your USB port, which would probably take quite a long time. So I've never done that. Shows welcome to your name and your last login time, which would be today. And my computer is slow apparently. Thank you, computer. So let's go to see my vapor record. Alright, so we get data from eSig. You can click that. It'll put all your data on there that has not been recorded yet. User information. Basically what we have here is your name that you have input, and you put it in here. It'll show up on your eVic. And then your age. Current status. Alright, so this is your firmware version. I did do a little tutorial on how to install the firmware, as it is not completely straightforward. It should be much easier, but you have to move some files around. My total puffs on this device, your serial number. You can set the amount of puffs that can be you can limit the amount of puffs you can take. So you set this at 10, and then it wouldn't fire anymore after 10. Not sure what use that is, unless you're trying to limit your puffs for some reason. There's my output power, okay, or my wattage. Current voltage is 4.1 volts, 2.41 amps. And then I have 1958 milliamp hour remaining on my battery, which is completely not accurate because my battery is not one of the ones that I am given a choice to display. So let's go to statistics, or sorry, let's go back there, check time. Okay, set your time and date, in case you don't carry a cell phone around, which everyone does to check the time and date. Okay, so we got statistics for the month, and you can select which month, which year, so on and so forth. So this will be my voltage. So this is, January 30 puffs at 3.5, 290 puffs at 3.7, so on and so forth. You can check it for the week and for the day. So today I've been moving my voltage around a bit here. I think I had a T3 on there earlier, which is why we have the lower voltage, and now I'm using my Penelope on there. You can check your puff statistics. So 24th of December, I did 242 puffs, so on and so forth. You can also change the day on there. And then we got our resistance. So this is the resistance, different resistance of the different cartomizers or whatever you are using. Okay. So I had 371 puffs on a 2.5 ohm something or other. Not even sure what that was. Oops. And then you have, let's get back out to home. Okay, so basically you just jump to those menus from here. Then you have upgrade my eSig. Now, as long as you have downloaded the newest firmware, and as far as the 1.1 firmware goes, you have moved the bin file to the hex folder, you can just click upgrade my eSig, and a little status bar will show up on the bottom, and it will upgrade the firmware for you. Now, this did delete all my settings that I had from the 1.0 firmware, so keep that in mind. It will also set your temperature limit quite low, so you may see a little temperature gauge flashing on your eVic after you upgrade to the 1.1 firmware. You'll need to manually reset that. And that is the MBR software. Alright, so there's your look at the MBR software. Let's get down to what I think about the look and feel of the device. The feel of it, you know, it's not the most solid mod in the world. I like the screen a lot. I think the finish isn't really for me. It's kind of almost like a super fine grit sandpaper finish to it. I believe it's an aluminum body. It's okay. I prefer nice chrome finger magnet looks, but I like the connection. Now let's take a look at this here. Your top cap screws off, and let's zoom in on that connection. Alright, so there's the connection. You see you got kind of a little shallow drip well, but once you put this cap back on there, you got a nice drip well. This does have Ego threading, so Stardust, any Ego devices, T3s will fit on here. 510 devices obviously will fit on here. Now the T3, I did have to pull the post in order to get this on, as it kind of one of those situations where the T3 will screw on, screw down, but it just kind of stops. You can tell it's not making a connection, so I pulled the post on the T3 and it worked fine. The little USB, as I mentioned, the USB hider plug fits back in fine for me. I just hope that doesn't break off, because it would be annoying. The button is okay. I've noticed it heat up a few times on me when I'm intensely vaping. The controller ring, not bad. It's like spring-loaded. It does make a noise that I'm not crazy about. It kind of makes me feel like something's falling apart, although I haven't had any issues with it. I would like that jingle to go away. I'm not a big fan of that. The bottom cap threading is okay. It's not fantastic. And then we have our spring. Let's zoom in on that. Alright, so there's the spring. Pretty tough spring, actually. And I did have an issue. You can see the very end of it right there. I have it tucked in under. Problem I was having was with this battery. Can we get a good look at that? Do you see that swirl mark? That's pretty deep in there. The end of that was scraping a big swirly hole into my battery, which is not good at all. So I actually tucked that. Anyways, I tucked the end piece in to stop that from happening, and I haven't had any more issues with that. We have the eVic logo right there, and on the very bottom, oops, wrong end, we have the Joytech logo with a vent hole. Alright, so the overall design, it's not bad. Size comparison to a Pro Vari, fairly similar. The eVic is a bit taller. Okay, and as far as girth goes, let's line that up. They're almost dead on. The eVic is a little fatter, but not by much. Alright, so one of my favorite features with this is being able to upgrade your firmware. Uh, Came with firmware 1.0. That had some bugs with it, including the fact that it wasn't an actual variable wattage uh, functioning device. The 1.1 version firmware did fix that. They need to streamline the firmware upgrades. You shouldn't have to move files around. That is kind of a pain. The version 1.1 did fix the wattage problem and a few other bugs. It also added, when you change, I'm going to turn it on again. Alright, so along with the fix on the wattage, you also get this, and it won't do it on wattage. So if you flick it 3 times fast to one side, it'll just automatically scroll. Okay, until you turn it the other way. Kind of annoying. I'm not a big fan of that because I try to change the voltage or wattage, well, the voltage quickly, and it does that on me, and it really bothers me. Another thing about the firmware upgrade process, it's only Windows right now. Hopefully there'll be a Mac version out, because I know there's lots of Mac users out there that don't have PCs, so that's something they need to address. Also, the menu system. You know, there's a lot of things you don't need in there. There's also a need for a master exit of some sort. So when I'm too deep, 2 levels deep into a menu, I don't have to just flick down to exit, then flick back down to another exit. There should be, you know, maybe replace that 3 turn scrolling with a 3 turn to get back to the main screen. Alright, so those are a few negative things. Nothing too major. Some good things about this, the connection is very versatile. You can put pretty much anything on there. You do, something I didn't note yet, you do have these air slots cut into there, so you can put a you know, a tank or a VV Nova or anything like that, and you will have airflow there without having to take the ring off. The reading ohms is very simple. I like that. I love being able to just, you know, take my device off, put it back on. I see what the ohms are. Especially useful for me because I test a lot of juices and I have a few atomizers sitting around and I'm not always sure what they are, so I can just quickly pop them on and off. If you've got a Ego 18650 mod, the old ones just with the one button, you can use that tube on here, and I know there's lots of different colors for those, so that's kind of neat. Also, another thing, you don't have to take this battery out to charge the device. You can use the wall adapter and the USB cord to charge the battery internally in here. I haven't done it just because I have battery chargers. I'm just used to doing that. So, but I do understand that once it is done charging, it'll show you on the screen that it's done charging. Overall, it's $109 on the Mad Vapors website. It's a little bit more than the other variable wattage, variable voltage devices that have been coming out of China, like the Vamo and the VMAX and the Sigeli VMAX. But I think the option to update your own firmware, and there's, you know, they're supporting it. You know, there's already a 2.0 coming out. I really think gives the upper hand to the eVic. Now, there's been some contention as to what the actual amp limit is on this thing. I'm not positive what it's advertised as. I've seen people test it, and it seems to be anywhere from just over 2 to 2.6. So someone that loves to drive really low ohms, or not low ohms, let's just say low ohm coils at higher voltages might not like this. I'm not one of those people. I don't vape above, you know, 5 volts. I'm usually around 3.7 to 4.2 volts as I build most of my own coils. Alright, so on the Mad Vapors website, we're talking $109.99 for the eVic kit. Okay, it's not just the tube. You get the battery, you get the USB cord, you get the charger. Now he's also got on here for his grand opening sale, you get a free 30 ml bottle of Halo liquid. I'm not sure if that's still in effect. There doesn't seem to be any expiration date on that. Don't know if they're supposed to be, but I implore you to check it out if you're interested in the variable wattage craze that's happening. All the devices coming out of China. Go check it out. Thanks to madvapors.com for sending me this to review, and thanks for watching, and I'll be back for more reviews. Hey guys, Chris coming back at you. That's stupid.